Fire barriers are one of those things you can't overlook because it's about so much more than compliance. Yes, surveyors are absolutely going to check these systems, so of course you need to stay on top of them. But with barrier integrity, it isn't just about passing an inspection. It's about keeping your building safe. So let's break down what that really means. Let's start with the basics. A fire barrier or smoke barrier is known as a passive life safety system. What does that mean? It means it's part of the building itself. It doesn't buzz or beep or flash. It just sits there doing its job. So when there's a fire, these walls and ceilings are designed to compartmentalize. They slow the spread of smoke and flame. They give your staff time to respond. They give patients time to be evacuated, which means here's the problem. If those barriers are breached by even a small hole, the system fails. Let me say that again. One tiny breach can compromise the effectiveness of an entire fire barrier. That's why this topic is so incredibly critical. So how do breaches happen? Because let's be honest, no one is trying to compromise fire safety, but it does happen. It happens a lot. And a lot of the times, no one even realizes it because all it takes is a tiny little hole in the wrong place. Like maybe IT or telecom installs new cabling, plumbers reroute a line, someone adds a monitor mount or a wall bracket, HVAC puts in a new damper, or someone just pops a tile and forgets to seal it properly. The fact is, many of the people doing this work don't even realize they're working in or through a fire-rated barrier. They don't. They're in a rush, they're trying to finish a job, and suddenly you've got an unsealed cable bundle or a ceiling tile left open, or worse, a big gaping hole behind an access panel. And that's not just sloppy. It's a compliance risk, it's a life safety hazard, and in many cases, it's a code violation. That's why you have to stay on top of it, even if they have no idea they did something wrong. So what does a fire barrier look like? Well, now that's part of the problem. They don't look like much, right? They're often drywall or above ceiling assemblies or utility shafts. The exact same construction may appear in a non-rated wall right next to a rated one. That can be confusing, but it's real. Unless you're trained and unless it's marked, it can be incredibly easy to miss. That's why we need to build awareness. We need to build awareness across every team and every vendor. If they don't know it's a barrier, they won't treat it like one. So what do? Mark your fire-rated walls and ceilings. You can use paint striping, you can use signage, anything to help your team and your associates recognize what they're dealing with before they start drilling. Now, let's talk about the above ceiling problem, because if there's one place in your facility where breaches pile up, it's above the ceiling tiles. And why is that? Because almost everything runs through there, right? Electrical, plumbing, HVAC, nurse call, data. And because it's out of sight, it's easy to forget and easy to ignore. But here's the reality. Every time someone lifts a ceiling tile, there's an opportunity for a problem. Every time. That's why people will often implement an above ceiling permit program. This isn't just another example of unnecessary bureaucracy. It's life safety, okay? Here's how it can work. Anytime someone needs above ceiling access, they request a permit. Then you log the location, the time, the scope of work, and you verify that any penetration is sealed before the tile goes back up. Does it slow things down a bit? Maybe. But you know what slows things down much more? A failed life safety survey, or much worse, a post-fire investigation. Yeah, a little bureaucracy doesn't look so bad, does it? Okay, let's say you or one of your team members discovers a breach. A cable bundle is not sealed, a ceiling tile is missing. Now what? Well, you fix it, of course, but you have to do it right and you have to document it. Here's what needs to go into your documentation. Location. You want to be specific here. Floor room, wall number, ceiling reference. Type of barrier. 1 hour, 2 hour, smoke partition, fire partition. Cause of breach. What created it? Cabling, pipe, maintenance work? Method of repair. What product was used? Was it a UL listed system? Who made the repair? Internal staff or certified contractor? Photos, before and after. This isn't busy work. This is how you create a defendable record. So when the surveyor asks, how do you verify your barriers are maintained? You can pull up your log in Scout, show your photos, show your timestamps, and say, here you go. Now, let's take a breath and back up for a minute, because fire stopping isn't just about patching holes. It's about creating a culture where every contractor, every vendor, every staff member understands that fire barriers are sacred. And here's how you build that culture. Train new vendors on fire barrier awareness. Build fire stop compliance into your contractor agreements. Include barrier inspections in regular EOC rounds. Empower your staff to report breaches without fear of blame. And most importantly, use a system to track, follow up, and verify. And of course, that's where Scout comes in. It's not just a record keeper, it's your compliance memory. It's your proof of performance. Ultimately, it's your peace of mind. Let's repeat the big takeaways. Every penetration in a fire-rated wall or ceiling matters. It's risking barrier integrity. Most breaches happen during routine work, cabling, plumbing, HVAC. If your staff or contractors don't know it's a barrier, they won't protect it. Above ceiling areas are a high-risk zone. Control them with permits. When you fix it, document it fully, clearly, completely. And finally, make fire stopping part of your culture. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about passing surveys, right? It's about integrity, barrier integrity, which is about protecting patients, protecting staff, protecting lives.